Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be talking about the Washington football team reportedly being interested in Penn State linebacker Micah Parsons. We'll talk about the possibility of him being there at 19 and the possibility of the Washington football team trading up into the top 10 or top 15 to get him, and we'll also go through, some first round linebackers at 19 or later in the first round that the Washington football team could target. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. So let's get right into the video. So, John Keim has been talking about it for a while on Twitter and on his podcast. He talked about the Washington football team being interested in linebacker Micah Parsons, but he also said it most likely would require a trade up because Micah Parsons is not likely gonna be there at 19. So very interesting. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But real quick, let's go over Micah Parsons as a player. So he did opt out in 2020 due to the pandemic, but had an absolute crazy year in 2019. Had 109 total tackles, 52 solo tackles, 5 passes defended, 5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, an absolute beast in 2019. Had a really good year in 2018 as well. He's about 6'3", 244 pounds. So let's go over some of his strengths and weaknesses. He is an absolute freak athlete. You look at his pro day, like I said, 6'3", 246, 4.39 40-yard dash, 40-inch vertical, really good broad jump as well. He's just a freak athlete, and that helps him, a bunch. He's really explosive. He's good. He's a really good run defender. He has some solid instincts in the run game. He's good in space. Has really, really good pursuit when he's, trying to get chased down a runner. He's a crazy athlete, and that's what you want at that linebacker position. Some of his, weaknesses. He doesn't have really great instincts in coverage. Sometimes his athleticism carries him at that position in college. Sometimes he reads it wrong, but he's able to get back, and have a pass breakup. But at the NFL level, that might not be able to happen. But he has the athleticism, to be a good coverage linebacker in the NFL. They just have to develop him, and I think Steve Russ, our linebacker coach, and I think Jack Del Rio will be able to develop him properly. He's just an insane athlete, and I really, really like this player. He's also solid. He's a solid tackler, and he's also a solid pass rusher. I mean, you saw 5 sacks this past year. Also had 4 forced fumbles. So, we don't have Ryan Kerrigan anymore, at least not for now. We'll see if we do sign him after the draft. So we don't have much, depth coming off the edge, so he might be able to do that, on third down. He might be able to come off the edge and wreak some havoc. I really, really like this player. You guys can look at some of his, strengths and weaknesses from Lance Zierlein. He has a really high grade, 6.89. The NFL comparison that he had was Miles Jack, who was a really good linebacker for the Jaguars. Here are some of his, strengths and weaknesses. Super competitive, good tackler, and a lot of what we talked about earlier. I like the prospect, but I don't know if I like him enough to trade into the top 10. That's the tough part, because I think he's definitely a very, very good talent. But if you're trading up into the top 10, that means you're trading up more likely than not. You're trading from 19 to 10 or 9. So that's 10 spots, and you're going to have to give up a bunch of assets to do that. So I'm not sure if I'm willing to do that, especially if a quarterback's on the board. I would probably be willing to trade up into the top 10 to get a quarterback if they really, really do like him, and maybe even with someone like Penei Sewell at the tackle position. But I think linebacker, I don't know if I would be willing to do that, especially since it's a strong, there's a really good linebacker class this year, especially in the first, second, and third rounds. So, but if he starts to drop, maybe to 12 or 13, 14, 15 in that range, I'm definitely fine with maybe throwing in a 3rd round pick or maybe even more along with the 19th overall to get Micah Parsons, because I do believe he is the best linebacker in this class. I think he's very good, and I'm willing to move up a few spots to get him, but definitely not 10. Even if they really like him, I think there's still some solid options at 19. The only way I see him falling to 19 is because of his character concerns. I'm not going to talk about that too much in today's video, but there are some rumors a former Penn State player, did allege him and some other teammates of some things, and we'll see but I don't think if Washington does draft him, then I don't think those allegations are true, because I think Ron Rivera isn't going to draft a player with, that type of red flag. That's just me though. So I don't think he's going to fall that far. Probably 15 is the farthest I see him falling. The Patriots could use a linebacker. They also could use a quarterback. 7 is probably the earliest I could see him going with the Lions, but the Lions also have a glaring need at receiver. So maybe you could trade, after the whole NFC East picks, maybe you could trade it to 13 where the Chargers are, Vikings at 14, or Patriots at 15 to get him. And then I would be fine with it. He's a really, really good player and definitely the best linebacker in this class. So now let's go through some, other linebackers that the Washington football team could target this year at 19 or later. So one, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I really like this player. Some people are scared that he's, too small for a linebacker and a little bit too big for a safety, but he's putting on some weight. He's about 221 right now, and he's going to continue to put on weight. Probably will be at like 225, 230 by the start of the season. Darius Leonard, the linebacker for the Colts this year, played at 230 and played at a very high level. So, it can be done. He's very, very good in coverage, especially in that short to intermediate passing game. Can come off the edge, had like 8 sacks the year before this season. He's an absolute animal. He's also a freak athlete, just like Micah Parsons. Versatile player, can line up in the slot as a corner, can line up as, a kind of a strong safety, and he's a good linebacker as well. Good run defender. Sometimes struggles in space as a tackler, but, we'll see. I really like him at 19. I would definitely be fine with not trading up for him, but I would be fine with taking him at 19. Nick Bolton, another solid option, but I think he's going to probably be a late first, maybe early second. Good run defender, not great in coverage. Zaven Collins, I really like Zaven Collins. I think 19 might be a little bit too high for me, but I would not be upset if we got him at 19. But if we traded back to like 26 and got Zaven Collins, I think that would be a really, really good pick, because we would get a really good linebacker who's super versatile and get some more assets. I like him. Very athletic, very versatile, can come off the edge, can also really good in coverage. Kind of reminds me of Anthony Barr. Jamin Davis is another option. Super rangy, explosive, can cover, really good in zone, solid in man coverage. He doesn't have a huge sample size, but still very good player, good speed, and solid at getting off of blocks. I like him in the late first round, not necessarily at 19. So another situation where you would have to trade back. Jabril Cox, another good option, really good in both man and zone coverage. A little bit, struggles a little bit in the run game, but he can develop better at the NFL level, and he's got some good range, solid speed. I like him in the second round. Pete Werner from Ohio State, another really good guy, probably a third rounder. Could be a Sam linebacker, possibly inside as well. He's an every down linebacker, good tackler, and he fits that 4-3 scheme that we run. So I like him. There's a lot of solid linebacker options for the Washington football team. So we definitely should be able to get a starter early on. So let me know down in the comments below which linebacker you like the most, and if you're willing to trade up for Micah Parsons. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn those notifications so you never miss a video, and peace.